We're going to practically stomp on this one. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. That's the glass belt the kid had around his neck. We don't know about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. Explanation flaw in that logic. Unfortunately, there's a big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? Really what happened? How did one half of the belt end up back here in this cabin? Yes. Remember that we found the other half of the glass belt in that waste paper basket. Could you explain that, Miss Baldwin? No. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. He died last night in the cabin. There was someone else in the room. That same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth. When to cover up his own guilt. Yes, there was someone else presented in this. Hold it! You're wasting time. Someone else was there. Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? The bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. There was no way in and out. Oh, yes. So that was you. Yes! True, I wasn't looking at what had happened. We shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know what she. There's no way I could have left that message. No, not would have. There's no you could have left that message precise to the detail. Would you mind? Ha 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 ha! Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question with the wardrobe and the Western floor. An attempt to incriminate me for a crime even though I had been sleeping the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen on the floor. The feel for becoming evidence that show how Mr. really died. Must have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Keeping half of I was going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early morning. The cabin had been quite dark. A single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would have barely cast any light on the floor there. Well, I knew then, when the carpet failed to notice the effect of the tiny item. You suspect me, don't you? Hold it! See, Miss Rockenough. From the sea, she's a daughter of the song trailer. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing here and she went to join the John Ballet Company. Before, she was dancing on the ship, a member of the ship band. You do not accuse a ship engine of being criminal. So that's it. You see that when the young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. It's not possible. I gave my tooth. Well, that's much interesting. What would you give your tooth, pray? How you be so sure? You're a great detective, you should know. Look, truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from the inside. Nobody could go to cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. But you want to tell me that killer can walk through dark doors? Yet, impossible. That's right. But wait, I read about this in detective stories. People often tie threads around door latches. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Totally not. There are water-weight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, there's not a single gap in sight. No thread or needle or magnet could be used. No, of course not. That's so too. Well, this one's just an alien sound. How much is that? How could you shift it to me like that? Shotgun has a valid point. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could put this cabin door by laying a finger on it. In this very cavern, you can see the traces of the method I have in mind has been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Nando, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Wait, shut the door bottle from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. You need to know what Mr. Holmes means, Mr. Nando? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed, we have. You care to do the honors, Mr. Nando? Okay, sir. See how the books sell things I've topped over? Much more happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. Powerful vessel when the engines are starting to reverse a violent jolt coming across the entire ship. A small object that wasn't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe yes, it's known as force of inertia, acting on the object. It says nothing someone doesn't know, or is that book? Or that is in her book at least. It's called the same force that pushed over those books in the bookcase. Also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Very obvious after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come to the cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then, somebody in there. Sorry, we need assistance. Sounds like Inspector Habagasha. Oh yes, that's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed, or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Moonsucker was killed? Man, why an emergency stop? I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin. I thought it looked a little odd. All the books from the shelves had toppled over. All the elements. It's almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I set them all up again, didn't I? And when we came to this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like Mr. Wilkins' cabin. My. Do you have anything to say about this, Mr. Popolo? Are you to mine? You said Paul made emergency stop. Seems a little too far-fetched. How could this possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it's simple enough. If you're getting the button in the passenger switch outside, used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh yes, of course. There's also a notice that wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergencies. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence, the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow crewmen to raise the alarm. So a button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you. The button is pressed. Two things happen in this interest of safety. Once your alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. Indeed, it did a little earlier today. Mr. Holmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. He sounds almost proud of himself. Mess with the ship. Report you to the captain. You're in much trouble now. Not now. I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let's not overlook the fact that we have learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door lock, doors side close. So, what we must now consider, yes, it all comes down to one thing. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Ozagi, did this ship make an emergency stop or did it not? Idiots, for it's a huge ship with many passengers. Make an emergency stop even in the middle of the night. There will be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Nando? It's only possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We're very much to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Hondas? Fascinating. Too short, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night? Strong and strong enough. It's your duty to patrol the first class area of the ship. Isn't that right? Duh. That is correct. Why? Ship logs here. This will be here to record the details of your duties. We can join with that. This is mine. Ah, you actually left it on top of the little makeshift brewer with the passenger out there. If it was a passenger, we took it to our care to remind and return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. It is where I always put it. Point is, looking at what you usually record, it's good it's under normal circumstances you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is... because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so. Your cell says it's only up to 2 a.m. Something happened. You're aboard the SS Warrior. Typically, spoken to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. To be honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop had really happened, I tell you, all of us would have noticed. It's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we don't know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anyone would sleep through that even if it happens in the dead of night. Oh no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. Throbbing of your head since this morning. We all had suffered from it. Oh yes, I had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head's been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I expected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. Had I already been dragged out of the wardrobe? And had those handcuffs put on me by that point. I didn't wake up at all when it was happening to me. Miss On, you bought this vessel as a store, right, didn't you? Oh yes, sorry. It's by the way, class accommodation usually isn't good meals. What did you survive on? What customers looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the roast chicken dish that was served yesterday when you take it? Yes, in fact. I had all of that. Customer wasn't fond of chicken. Oh really? So the victim didn't eat of the chicken at all. That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? The dear fellow, does not strike you? Miss Holmes, do you mean to say there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No. Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the additions of a sulfuric scientists can induce a very deep slumber in those who consume it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal the sleeping drug so no one would notice that the emergency stopped? And of course that would not means well, a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Placing every meal, every passion on board with a specific drug would be impossible. Unless, that is, some member of the crew was a competitor. Oh, Holmes? Well, see, man. There's, just exceptions in this matter would get you nowhere. If he was to talk, there wouldn't have been an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. Well, that's what happened. Every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting in a renegade. They drugged the entire ship so they wouldn't notice that she had gotten on board. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Huh? Cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. Crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, someone decided to run away. I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help everyone together. See where everything, our fame in the wallet. Mother Russia, we wanted to help our angel. I believe it. You're right. We put sleeping drug in the chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I didn't notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Duh, we could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve. Ugh, talk about a heavy seasoning. Midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. The person was on set soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effect of the producing potion that this evening meal had contained. So if that's what happened, the only boy on the ship last night with the crew, people who just like chicken and the new boy passenger, Miss Pavlova, would have been possible for you. Could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo Kaplan so. That makes sense. Silly everyone cabin door would have been locked up in the case. It would have been complete chaos. I wouldn't say so. But of course, just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten the evening meal of chicken in their cabins, which would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes! The overwhelming majority of passengers would have probably slept with the cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. Some way, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to emergency stop in the early mornings of day stages of the morning. We have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There's somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor and attempted to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragment of glass that would reveal the culprit identity. And someone who abused the simple emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But don't know any of this. I'm just a little girl. I like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor. Sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We do not believe. Sailors like me. We trust only what we see with our eyes. A larger portrait. What? I'm quite the same position, my good man. Observation to me is everything. It's under. Oh, yes. You hear it? You can see a cry of guilty on the wind. What's a accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. Can you hear such a call of your ears? No. You must hear it with your eyes. For observations of it's the basis of all deduction. Oh, you're talking about. I believe the time has come for the final logic reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. Oh, here we go. Another dance. Face. Well, exactly, Mr. Holmes. That's just my dear fellow. As I said, of two prevarigators. Observation. Movements on the floor. Try to fabricate everything, don't we? Try to put the scene of Miss Muggy's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two happened. Precisely. Which often you criticize my meaning. Alright, so we can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows some officers in the last. Hello. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain. It's no place. Yes, you're right. This is ink. I'm not mistaken. Ink. Look at that color. Yes, I was correct.
Yes!
Take that. Sure enough. You seem to have quite a large purple stain in your back on your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where that dirt came from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Oh, this is getting good. I like these seductions. It's pushing on the edge of the time. I thought it was so good, but apparently it was him. Make it plain. We're standing on the back of Seaman's uniform, and I think that what's made is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Lando, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then. So, you know what the uniform really is?
Yes!
Booyah. Snap, trapple, crapple, pop. This photograph and this ink is shows like which colors the same uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops at last, and now see the significance. The Russian word for the word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of the uniform is in ink of the same exact color. The ink had been dry, it could have possibly stained your uniform that way. Which means it must have been present in the cabin. In the moment immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in the student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed the button to make Wardrobe's emergency stop to put the cabin shut. Did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Beth, please. Do not worry, Angel. Let me do the talking. It was after 1 in the morning. It was on duty patrolling passageways. When our AJ came to me, she was white like a sheet. Comfort her. Told the cabin 1 was open. Looked inside. I saw a student boy on the floor. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. This happened in the cabin like Angel told you. Couldn't escape through the ventilator into the cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, That is right. So after the incident, then Cat ran away and Miss Clover had reached the cabin next to hers. Only to find his culprit laying lifeless on the floor. Since she was worried when she heard sounds of something falling on the floor, that's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked. She was open to the lock, and you would know what happened. Just one thing would you even more in mind. What? When you went to Miss Aggie's cabin, was one of the... Was he already dead? Why? Well, I told you. When he opened the door of the student's cabin and looked inside, I was asked to Miss Polliver. Well, Miss Polliver? Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark. He was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. The truth of cosmic death last night? Very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. Cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. In the unfortunate incident that anticipate these events again, in which the victim stumbled. However, those are the facts. There's one particular area in this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. Do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Alejandro? Oh, well. Oh shit. What seems so unnatural about this? Let me look at the court record. The fists? That's what I'm thinking myself. But I feel like if you crack your spine, you would end up on your... It would be your back that would be broken, not your... Like, this is my logic. And one with me with this. If you had broken your vertebrae, your spine, which in human logic is dangled on your back, wouldn't you have fallen on your back and broke it? Instead of falling on your face and breaking your neck? That's just my logic. I might be wrong. I don't know much about the human body to specific this is correct. But that's just my thoughts. I'm gonna go with the fists.
Yes!
His fist just doesn't seem quite right. We're possible to do it. Oh, it was the fist! And your chin would be possible to do it. Okay. I want to see over what palms first. Right there's a victim with his half hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply, I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madame. Why I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Her broken earwig. Oh my god. Crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. So to tell us. Tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. The crescent moon looks like familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. It's not though. This is a key. What? The truth is now tantalizing close. The customer come to the customer's clenched fence. This is the final last piece of the puzzle. Chef, what does this little question mean? What certificate has it? Observe. Find the answer in your own eyes. Hair earrings. If you were with me earlier, we were doing her body search for the scratch mark. We saw she had we saw one crescent earrings, and the other one was snapped off.
Yes!
Well, on your ear there, I see you have a crescent moon as well. What? And on your other